Stand by SOT1.
Standing.
10 seconds. Ready, rollin'. Ready, SOT1.
Ready.
In 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll in.
From legendary Uncle Studios in beautiful Southern California, welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters, the central location for you employees, you employers, and of course, we haven't forgotten about you damn independent contractors. And now, here's this week's edition of Work Comp Matters. And it's July 23rd, 5 minutes after 12 noon. Sorry about that for starting 5 minutes late to everybody. We had a little technical difficulty going on, but that is expected. For those of you that don't know, we do our best to run this half-hour daily show Monday through Friday like a regular radio station. We do not edit. We do not go over it. We do not seek to fix the imperfections except as to what goes on when we do it. We go on the air as quickly as possible, as close to 12 noon, and we are off the air as close to 12:30 as possible. We've got about 215, 220 shows in the tank, and man, I got to tell you, podcasting a 30-minute show 5 days a week at 12 noon for a half hour is so much more challenging than publishing a 1 hour podcast on Wednesday nights. But that's where the show has taken us. That's the way we roll. And all I can say is we prepare for the worst and hope for the best going on. Huh. What a rant. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Appell. Welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters. I'm brought to you by my chief of staff and the doctor, Mike Zima, but he's not a medical doctor. Also, boy, that sounded bassy, didn't it? Also, we are joined by the madman across the water, Mr. John Scalia, 35-year retired workers' compensation attorney. We are, of course, Work Comp Matters is brought to you by A1 Law, number one computer management system, 818-357-4120 for your no strings attached money back guarantee. $1 a day. A1 Law. We are also brought to you by the workcompcentral.com. If you want the number one location for workers' compensation in both California and around the United States, check out the workcompcentral.com. They've got a free 7-day offer. And if you want to pick up their services, I have them. It's only $1 a day. That's right, the Work Comp Central. We've got news, talk, and hopefully some answers for you employees, you employers, and of course, we haven't forgotten about you damn independent contractors. And I've got the first story of the day, and I want to talk about cash. That's right. I want to talk about $130,000 of cash. Los Angeles City Councilman Jose Huzar was arrested and taken into federal custody today in connection with a nearly 2-year federal bribery and corruption probe at City Hall. Huzar, 51, had served on the city council since 2005 and is now facing a racketeering charge that alleges he used his position to leverage bribes and other financial benefits, according to the United States District Attorney. He is suspected of accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes from a developer in exchange for his support of a downtown high-rise project. He is expected to appear in federal court. It says Tuesday, so I presume that is next Tuesday. Can you imagine that, folks? A Los Angeles city councilman accepting bribes for development in Los Angeles. Oh my goodness, I'm doing backflips. I can't believe it. FBI spokesman Laura Miller says agents arrested Councilman Huszar without incident early this morning at his Boyle Heights home. The mayor and other city leaders have been calling for Huszar to resign since his former special assistant agreed to plead guilty in a $1 million bribery scheme involving real estate developers. Huszar had not been arrested. He had just been suspected. And then this morning, it went down. While today's announcement on the arrest of Councilman Huszar is not unexpected, the horrendous and disgusting allegations leveled against him and others have painted a dark cloud over our city government for a long time now, the statement from Martinez read. That would be Council President Nuri Martinez, who issued the statement after the arrest. Huszar chaired the City Council's powerful Planning and Land Use Management Committee until 2018, when he was stripped of that other assignments after federal agents served a search warrant to his house in Boyle Heights. During the search in his home, agents discovered and seized nearly $130,000 in cash that was stashed in his closet. Okay, folks, think about that for a second. Our city councilman had $130,000 stashed in his closet. I just want to say,
first,
yes.
Steve, it's Huszar. Sorry, it's Huszar.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Huszar. Huszar, city councilman. Dude is busted. He finally got what was coming to him. Okay, now, the most amount of cash that I have ever had on my person at one time, and believe me, I was not stashing it in my closet, was 10 grand. And that's because I was expecting to make a purchase and the purchase required cash. I think the most amount of money I've ever kept in my home without expecting, keeping it in my home in a safe place just for a rainy day was probably $1,000. Mike and John, I just wanted to go to you guys. And Mike, do you keep a lot of cash in your house?
No. And as a matter of fact, the most cash that I've ever kept, I think you may recall this incident, Steve, was about a year ago when I literally found...
You found it on the sidewalk. I remember that.
It was like $1,500 or $1,450, and I kept that at home. Yeah.
I've had 10 grand, but not for a long time. The most amount I've ever kept for a long time is like 1,000. John, what are you using over there in Munich, Germany? It's not euros, is it?
Yeah.
Marks? So you don't use marks, right?
We use euros.
Gotcha. If it's not too personal, I mean, do you see any reason to keep a whole slew of cash unless you've got like a wall safe or something like that?
No, I see no reason at all. And most of our banking is electronic. If you went on the street and asked a Munster to write a check, I'd look at you like, "What's that?"
Yeah, my point exactly. But city councilman, so that is the update on that story. Mike, I'm going to go to you with the next news story of the day.
Okay, Newsom, the Gav, issues shutdown warning as cases spike. Governor Gavin Newsom warned Monday that he could shut down part of the economy again if California loses control of the coronavirus pandemic as the state shattered its single-day record for most new coronavirus cases. Quote, "It's your individual decision that will determine our fate and future to mitigate the likelihood and need that we ever have to toggle back on these stay-at-home orders," end quote, Newsom said at a news conference. As of Monday evening, county health departments had reported more than 6,000 cases, with several counties still yet to report, according to data compiled by the San Francisco Chronicle. California hadn't exceeded 4,515 new cases in a single day previously, according to the state's health department. Those are ominous numbers, Steve. I'm freaking out.
Mike, if Gavin Newsom orders a second shutdown, I will freak out. I think the entire state might freak out. You thought we saw protesting before. If there is a second shutdown, I think this city, this state, this country will riot. I want to go to John Scalia in Munich, Germany. You've said on many shows before, John, that Munich, Germany is a compliant place. They say to wear masks, you guys wear masks. Here in the United States, we are like the friggin' wild, wild west. Okay, they say wear masks, and a considerable percentage of people are going to say, screw you, give you the one finger salute. I'm going out without a mask. John, if indeed Gavin Newsom issues another stay-at-home order, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, I think you're right. I think there's going to be a lot of pushback. What form it takes is, we don't know. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the Americans do not like to take direction, even when it's ostensibly for their own good. And in America, as I've said frequently, there is even less a sense of the common good. That has disappeared from American society.
John, sorry I wanted to say, you are absolutely right. When you say in Germany, they say wear a mask, everybody's compliant. We have more, I don't give a shiite what other people think or do or whatever. I'm doing what I want in America because this is the land, this is the home of the brave, and I have my First Amendment rights. Please continue.
Yeah, no. So I think it's a cultural thing, and I think there'll be massive pushback because people really don't like the restraints. It's not like anybody in Germany liked having the country closed down. It's not like anybody enjoyed it, but we all knew what it was for. We all knew that if we did it, it would be the least difficult path to getting back to normal, and that's exactly what's happening.
My name is Steve Appell. You're dialed into Work Comp Matters. We are brought to you by the workcompcentral.com. If you want the number one location for workers' compensation in both California and around the United States, check out the workcompcentral.com. They've got a free 7-day offer. And if you want to pick up their services, I have them. You should too. It's only $1 a day. Boy, I am like on today, aren't I, guys? No, don't answer that. That's okay. Work Comp Matters.
Well,
say what? Say what?
Well, it's the new microphone, right? It's like you're taking that for a spin.
I am taking liberties with the microphone, and I'll talk to you about that after the show. Work Comp Matters is also brought to you by A1 Law, #1 computer management system, 818-357-4120 for your no strings attached money back guarantee, $1 a day. A1 Law. Well, he's my right-hand man. He is my chief of staff. He keeps me in check and hopefully out of trouble at least 90% of the time with the next news story of the day, the doctor, but he's not a medical doctor, Mike Zima.
Well, the Gab is in the news again. This is an important story. California budget deal avoids permanent cuts in healthcare schools. California will make up its estimated $54.3 billion budget deficit in part by delaying payments to public schools and imposing pay cuts on state workers, according to an agreement announced Monday by the GAV and legislative leaders. The agreement avoids billions of dollars in permanent cuts to public schools and healthcare programs, including proposals from Newsom that would have made fewer low-income older adults eligible for government-funded health insurance and would have eliminated programs aimed at keeping people out of nursing homes where the coronavirus has spread with deadly consequences. Newsom said, "We're not solving for everything in one calendar month. We have a lot of work to do over the next few years," end quote. Guys, this sounds like a shell game. I didn't understand any of this. John, did you understand this?
Yeah, originally I think Newsom wanted to cut stuff relative to the school budget and some other stuff, and it was pretty much essential services, also to poor people. And the legislature, which is Democrat controlled and liberal, said, no, we got to find a way not to make these cuts and to deal with it in the future. So they restored the cuts, which really, basically they restored the funding back to the pre-pandemic level. And they said,
are they delaying the cuts?
Yeah, well, no, hopefully they're not. I don't think the answer to that question, I think, is no one really knows. I think the answer is they're hoping that once the economy gets back on track, the money will be there. But, that's all you can do, really.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
I want to continue with the story on schools, and then we're going to go to John Scalia. As some of you may know, my son, he just graduated his second year of law school, and him and my bro sent me a story which takes place 3,000 miles away, out of all places, Harvard Law School. A Harvard Law School student has filed a lawsuit against the university because tuition prices and fees have remained the same despite classes moving to remote learning due to the coronavirus pandemic. Quote, "I decided to sue Harvard because while they did make some effort, the first semester we were online to mitigate things. They just have not lowered tuition." Abraham Barkholder, Barkhordar, 23, told ABC News in an exclusive interview. And I would recommend that everybody watch this story, because the word is there is a possibility, well, anything's possible, that this could become a national class action suit, depending on how valid the claims are. I now want to go to John Scalia, and he has a story and maybe a segment for us. Go ahead, John.
Okay, this is from the LA Times, and the article head is "Sheriff asks state to monitor Gardena shooting, but puts hold on autopsy findings." The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department on Monday asked the California Attorney General to monitor its investigation of the controversial shooting of a man in Gardena, but also blocked the public from learning the results of an autopsy the coroner was scheduled to perform on 18-year-old Andres Guardado. Sheriff Alex Villanueva said on Twitter on Monday that he had reached out to Attorney General Javier Becerra to monitor the Guardado investigation out of an abundance of caution. "I am committed to transparency and strengthening community faith in the investigative process," he wrote. Now, this is my editorial comment. I think that must have been the comic relief part of his press release. Because here's the next paragraph. But LA County Coroner spokeswoman Sarah Ardelani said the Sheriff's Department put a security hold on the case of Guardado, who was to be examined on Monday. She said the coroner's office could not release the results of the autopsy, which would reveal how many times Guardado was struck by gunfire and where, until the hold was lifted. The Sheriff's Department spokesman did not respond, what a shock, to a question about why the hold was sought. But Ardelani said the department had said that investigators wish to maintain the integrity of the investigation and premature release of information could jeopardize the case. That had to be written by Saturday Night Live, right? Let me tell you something. First of all, I am probably the only workers' comp attorney anywhere in the state who ever actually took a deposition of a deputy coroner, okay? So I was there in their office. It was a long time ago. Hopefully they've got better offices. Because when I went there, it was like a dungeon. And the guy I deposed was like Ichabod Crane. My perception was that, you know, if you go to medical school, ask them to raise their hands to see how many want to become coroners. Yeah. There's probably more who want to become proctologists. The point is, I don't understand why the coroner's office should be subject to orders from the cops. They are supposed to be, under the California Public Records Act, the records are public, but the cops apparently can delay those records from being public for almost as long as they want. That's absurd. You know, this is another indication of how secretly and quietly a lot of law enforcement, a lot of law in America has become a real police state. I mean, what else do you call it when the cops have the authority to tell a medical examiner, yeah, do your thing, doc, but don't tell anybody because we may not like it. Yeah, that's transparency, all right. Yeah, that's being upfront with the public. The guy was shot 6 times in the back. Come on, give me a break. It's time for somebody in law in America to grow a pair and say, you know, this has got to stop. The cops no longer have the authority, should not be able to tell the coroner how to do his job or when to do his job or when to release the information. The public has a right to know, and you guys are cops. Shut up and do your job.
I just want to ask one question, John, and a very good point, or points, might I say. You said this is what law enforcement has become. Don't you really think it's always the way it's been, or am I mistaken?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if there was a point when they had no control over the coroner or not, but it's certainly an accepted way of life, which is wrong, in my opinion.
I know this. The coroner is paid by the county, correct?
Yeah.
Well, the county is the people. Therefore, it's the people that employ the coroner and not the cops.
It sounds reasonable to me.
There you go. There you go. We've got a couple.
John,
go ahead.
I have just a question, John. It's almost certain that the reason that they're not releasing this stuff is because of the shots in the back. Correct?
That would be my guess. Yeah.
And you understand that it's up to 6 shots in the back?
Yeah.
My goodness. Okay.
I guess
Thank you for
clarifying. I guess his back was armed and dangerous.
Oh, John.
My goodness. He had eyes in the back of his head is what he had, right? Hey.
We've got a few minutes left. Dr. Mike, do you have a last story or a burning desire?
Well, I mean, I got something that I think real quickly to end on, maybe perhaps a high note if we can.
Well, just don't put me to sleep, Dr. Mike. No anesthesia. No anesthesia.
So have I been doing that so far? I'm so sorry. Okay. Well,
No. You have not been putting us to sleep. Exactly the opposite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The pharmaceutical company that makes the antiviral drug remdesivir, which has shown promise as a treatment for COVID-19, will begin trials for an inhalable version of the medication this summer as officials pump up production amid a worldwide push for a cure. Gilead Sciences, the Foster City company that developed the drug as a potential treatment for Ebola, said researchers will begin screening volunteers this week for a clinical trial of the nebulized formula, which is scheduled to start in August. There you go.
All right. And Dr. Mike, thank you very much. I want to give special thanks for this edition to Work Comp Matters. Scott Walton of Legendary Uncle Studios. By the way, Scott, give me a call as always after this show. I want to thank Mike Zyma. I want to thank John Scalia and all the good people back at WorkCompcentral that continue to support and approve of this valuable project, including but not limited to Ms. Kristen Chavez. My name is Steve Appell. We'll see you again tomorrow at noon for another edition of Work Comp Matters. Bye now.